Hello and welcome to Sky Career Talks, here where we get to discuss why communicating and connecting with Rutgers alumni is so important. Today we'll be learning about Maria Neiswender. She graduated from Rutgers University in 2022 with a master's degree in communication and digital media. Before attending Rutgers, she finished her bachelor's in 3 years, graduating from Duquesne University with a communication studies. We get to learn a little bit more about Maria utilizing her network and connecting to Rutgers alumni. She currently works as the production associate for NFL Films.
Hi, my name is Lane Klimak, and today I'm joined by Maria Neiswender to discuss where Rutgers alumni start their career after college. How are you today, Maria?
I'm good, Lane. How are you?
I'm good. So to start us off, can you just give a brief overview of your career journey?
Yeah, so I graduated from Duquesne University in 2021. It's out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I graduated in 3 years. I always had my life behind the camera in high school and growing up, and was able to get back behind the camera working in sports live production for Duquesne University Athletics. Started in around like January of 2021. So just 4 months before I graduated, and I absolutely loved it. I love being back behind the camera. And ironically, on my second shift working, it somehow came up that I had applied to graduate schools, had gotten into Rutgers, the MCM program, and my boss at Duquesne said, "Oh, I actually used to work with the guy who has my position at Rutgers Athletics." And so that was pretty much a done deal for me. I was able to shadow Rutgers Athletics in their live production truck for our Vision, the student-led Big Ten Network program, and was able to shadow in March of 2021 and essentially just made my decision to go to Rutgers for graduate school. And so my whole first 2 semesters, I was working for Rutgers Athletics in the live production truck for our Vision again. And I think I applied to NFL Films on a whim. It's right down the street from my childhood home, and they somehow let me in. So I applied to be a seasonal production assistant last year, and I started last August, so August of 22, and I'm now back for my second season at NFL Films.
That's awesome. That's great experience to hear. So, while you were working with not only Duquesne University, but then also when you came to Rutgers, what type of technical or interpersonal skills do you think students need to start their career or that you learn from just, shadowing?
Yeah, so working for Duquesne Athletics, I was kind of thrown into it. I had reached out to the person who was hiring and said, "I might be able to help you with these skills. I'm very interested." And he jokingly said, "How soon can you start?" And so I think it's really important to show that you are teachable, even in uncomfortable or uncertain situations. So knowing that you're teachable, knowing that you could work with a team, that you might make mistakes, but you can always come back from them and learn from them, I think is really important, especially then going to Rutgers. Duquesne is a much smaller school than Rutgers. So you go and you're thrown into Big Ten Network and ESPN and NCAA things, and you're really kind of thrown for a whim. But if you can show that you are teachable, that you can make mistakes and learn from them and also work as a team for the better of the production team that you're working on, then you're pretty much golden. And the same goes for working with NFL Films. I always say I still have no idea how I got in the building. They essentially told me, "We just wanted to get you in somehow." So they saw something in me, and maybe they saw that, I was a good communicator, that I could work as a team, and that I am willing to learn in situations and circumstances that I had never experienced before. So NFL Films is definitely a different side of production. While I was working in live production for all athletics with Rutgers, NFL Films is all post production. So it's editing, it's going through footage, it's creating script lines for these long form broadcast pieces and documentaries. So it's definitely different, but to show that you have these skills from your other jobs, that you can be teachable, that you can work as a team, and then apply it in a new work environment where you're definitely uncomfortable and you're not used to what's going on in the building, but showing that you can adjust to that and adapt to that, and also that you're willing to make yourself better in those situations is really important.
That's definitely great advice, for students who are interested in just, those teachable moments are so crucial and so important. You touched on it just a little bit earlier when talking about your career, but you said that, because of someone you knew at Duquesne, they knew someone at Rutgers. So it mentions, the topic of networking. So how important do you think networking is for the industry and just developing one's career?
Yeah, so in sports production, I will say this to anyone, it does not matter really what you know, it matters who you know. And as sometimes it can be very annoying when you're trying to get a job and you're trying to get your foot in the door, but you never know when and where you're going to meet someone. So treat any job that you walk into, any internship that you walk into, as if they could quite literally like seal the rest of your career for you. So working for Duquesne Athletics, it was completely on a whim that I was just like, oh, let me see if they need help. I could be a camera operator for them. And then all of a sudden, that boss that I had at Duquesne knew my old boss at Rutgers. And so you never know who anyone that you meet will have a connection to. He also worked for Big Ten Network out in Chicago. So I was able to work for Big Ten Network Fox Productions when they would come in for Rutgers football games. It's a whole wide world of, you never know what room you could walk into and who you will meet there. And the same goes for, I was in a sorority at Duquesne. The girl who recruited me for the sorority, her dad works at NFL Films. So it's just a lot of back and forth. You'd never expect that someone that you meet in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania will be able to get you a job, or know people in Mount Laurel, New Jersey to help get you further in your career, and also just make those connections and really treat any room that you walk into. That could be a college classroom, undergraduate, internship. If you're just making friends in your dorm freshman year when you move in, anybody can help you get to where you want to be in life, or where you didn't expect that you wanted to be. I can safely say at Duquesne, I had no idea that I was going to end up at NFL Films, but those steps I took along the way to create those connections, create those friendships, and then always feel able to reach out to them, it was really crucial. And I know I got into NFL Films without the help of that, but because of where I got and the stepping stones I took from Duquesne to Rutgers and to moving back home, it really all kind of felt and melded into one to get me to NFL Films and where I am today. So it really does matter who you know, and just never feel bad. If you have a connection on LinkedIn in a classroom, reaching out, you just never know where anything could get you.
I think you said that perfectly. Networking is so important in today's world, and especially in your career. And, you never know where one little connection may take you. So that was a great explanation of that. So it wasn't too long ago, but, if you could think back to your master's program or your undergrad, do you have any tips or recommendations that you would advise to students who are developing and starting their career?
Yeah, so for me, I really wanted to continue my education post college. I did my bachelor's in 3 years, and I love learning. And so applying to master's degrees was not something that I really thought I would do in my undergraduate career, except, I came home winter break of my senior year and I was like, oh, what if I just continue my education and apply to these colleges? And I was able to apply to Rutgers, Temple, and Duquesne, and I got into all of them. Just again, somehow got pretty lucky that I got into all of them. And when I was looking for master's program, I was really looking at the curriculum. I was looking at what classes I'd be able to take, what areas of concentration could I study, which is how I got into the digital media realm of the MCM program. And I really wanted to tailor it to my own experience and to my own career wants and needs. So while I was doing digital media, which is very broad, social media, so if I ever want to leave sports, I can. I have that backboard of having digital media under my belt. But what I did is I tailored any project or presentation or paper to sports. So my thesis, for example, was about women in the NFL. So I wrote a 38-page paper on women in the NFL that was tailored to me. Any research project I did was tailored to sports or tailored to football or the NFL. I covered Big Ten Network, specifically Rutgers athletics, on my Twitter for a whole semester because that's kind of where I wanted to go. So you have these classes and you're able to tailor them to what you want to do. Don't feel like you're locked in to digital media and just digital media. If you have a passion, it could even be anything other than sports. If you have a passion and you really like learning about it, might as well tailor your projects to that. And so, going into a class, know that you don't have to do things exactly like your classmates are doing them. If you want to write about sports, write about sports. You'll learn things along the way. It'll really develop your own knowledge and understanding of what's going on in sports. So take everything and really make it your own. Make it your own experience, make it your own project, and have fun with it, because learning anything about digital media or anything in the MCM program that you can then apply to your career will really help you in the long run.
That's great advice. You said it perfectly with, tailor it to your needs and your wants. So I think that's great. And I think that's great advice for, students who are either in undergrad, just starting their master's, and it's really helpful. So lastly, I like to end these, just kind of on like a lighthearted note. Do you think you could describe your job in 3 words?
Oh, I mean, working in the NFL, it's always different every day. Every week you walk in and you're like, all right, what's happening now? So definitely creative. You really have a creative freedom. You walk into a building and you walk into, a Monday morning and you're told to edit a game. You have the creative freedom to do that. So definitely creative, fulfilling for sure. I had not edited a single thing before walking into NFL films. Again, have no idea how I got there, but they saw that I could have that creative outlet and be able to produce something that is creative and tells a story, and it's all about your storytelling. So having that creative aspect, like I mentioned in the first word, to then go to fulfilling, you really get to see a project through and through. Like you're there from the creation of the idea to sending it off and having it air on NFL Network, online, on NFL Film Social, on NFL Social. So you really have that fulfillment aspect that you get from working in sports, working at the NFL, and seeing your idea come to creation. And then I also think ever changing. So that's going to be my last word. You never know what to expect in the NFL. There's always a joke that there's an NFL script. And if there is, I think anyone in NFL films would love to have it, to see like what's going to happen next, because every single week we're like, oh, okay, well now the Jets beat the Eagles. Now what are we gonna do? And so you're always having to be on your toes and to work around, any upsets, what's going on in the NFL. There's always things changing within the club level. So, being able to understand what's going on at the 32 other NFL teams outside of the NFL as a whole, things are always changing, things are always going on. So being able to work on your feet, work on your toes, like expect the unexpected. It's always ever changing, but that's kind of the fun of it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, Maria. This advice will definitely be helpful for students in starting their career.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lane.